Hello everyone, today we are going to be going over importing AutoCAD drawings, or really any DWG file, and this can work for Mastercam files as well, I found, into Inventor drawings and then into Inventor parts and then turn those 2D sketches into 3D parts. So we start by clicking on part, and we're going to start a sketch and choose whichever plane you prefer to draw on, and then you click on AutoCAD or AutoCAD right there for insert. Find the drawing that you want to import, and I have it right here. Now typically it'd open this next menu. I don't know what's going on with my computer. For some reason I have to turn off True View, and then it brings up this window. And then you should be able to select the layers that you want right here. Once again, I'm not getting that option for some reason. Then click next. Make sure everything's in inches, and we want to constrain endpoints. Apply geometric constraints. Usually that's defaulted down there. And so we'll say finish. And let's get rid of the drawing blocks here. Okay, so things don't always come in the orientation that you'd like them to, so this is where we use the modify section right here. First, I'm going to rotate the whole thing. So I click on all that, click on my center point over here. Yes, some constraints need to be relaxed. And now it's having a difficult time because of all the different constraints on it. Let's just try typing in 180 degrees. And click enter and see what happens. Oh, that did not work. Of course things aren't working for you. I'm trying to show you how to do things. Okay, so here is a good trick that I have learned when you're having a hard time manipulating the drawings like you want. I'm going to copy it, or no, sorry, I meant to say rotate. I'm going to click on this and then click on copy, and then the center point over here, and then it has no problem moving around when we're just copying it. So I move it to 180 degrees. So I'm done, and then I'll just delete the old stuff. Okay, so now we'll do the exact same thing, except this time we're just moving it. For the base point, click over here. Usually it has an easier time moving it than it does rotating it. And I've also found before, I've done this a few times on this computer, and I did not click on the apply geometric constraints, the things I showed you to click on in the first menu, and I had a much easier time rotating them. However, I believe I'm not going to have to add as many coincident constraints this time when I'm trying to fix the drawing. So real quick, we need to change the line types to Inventor lines instead of AutoCAD lines. So I just highlight all the sketch geometries and then right click on any of the lines, go to properties. Then here I change everything to default. So now everything will behave, all the lines will behave as they're supposed to in Inventor. Okay, I'm going to come up here and turn everything that I want to be in construction geometry to construction geometry. I have to move a few dimensions around to see all my lines correctly. Move this dimension out of the road, and let's move this dimension and this dimension out of the road. Clean up things a little bit. Okay. Alright, now we change each of our 4 hole spots here to center points. And now you think, okay, I'm ready to start extruding this. And that would be the case, except rarely it looks like I can do these 4, but it's the center one that's giving me problems. So a few different things you can do right here. So we're going to go back and edit the sketch again. I've showed you how to use a sketch doctor before, so we click on sketch doctor and we can come over here and look at these different things that says, oh, you can fix this, and we could go through and find an open loop that's giving us problems. However, I found, at least in this case, the sketch doctor I found to be a very helpful tool for doing things like this. Another useful way to try and fix a drawing is to just do it manually. So like right here, okay, we can see that we've got some overlapping lines. We're going to get rid of the overlapping lines and just use extend. And now the same thing is kind of going on in here. So like right here, we used to have an extra line. Let me double check. Maybe it's not. I don't have it this time for some reason. Okay, there it is. So if you hover over something for just a second, you can bring up this extra menu. And then, like, okay, I want to click on that one and just delete it. Right here, delete that one. Don't know why that's not a full circle, so I'm going to delete that and just click extend. And now it extended that circle the full way. And then this one, I am just going to, this whole circle seems to be problematic, so I'm just going to delete the whole thing. Let's get this dimension kind of out of the road so I can see my line. We can put that dimension on later if we want to. And then I'm just going to draw a circle here. So now it's the same diameter as that old one. I can delete that old line now. And then I'll just trim it. And now here I'm guessing I should be good. I'm going to you'll notice that as I'm doing this, I'm not really worried about constraining, because I look down here, oh, I have 189 constraints left to do. Like, I could apply automatic constraints and everything, but honestly, it's not going to be too much use in the end. There's just, it's just going to be easier to leave it unconstrained. If I want to, I could come up here and automatically apply the constraints, but I'm not going to. It's I believe it's just as effective to do it without applying the constraints. As long as nothing is changing, everything should be in the place where we want it to be already. So I click Finish Sketch. Here's the moment of truth, and we're getting close. We're getting close. It takes a few times every time I try figuring out how to do it. Double check all our lines right here. Okay, that's a problem. We need to trim that here. And we'll just see if that fixes anything real quick. Okay, we're getting really close. Okay, so now we're just going to try, let's just try a few coincident constraints just in case they're not already there. And let's try the sketch doctor. Okay, none of these coincident constraints are important for us. So we're just going to look at the different open loops, and I just go through until I see something highlighted over here. It'll be highlighted in white. Okay. So that We don't want that to be an open loop, so we're going to click next on that. Okay, it says found an open loop. What would you like to do? I'd like to close the loop. Okay, we want to click on line segments until the loop is closed. It's going to just try to find any problems with it. So we believe it came to about right here and here, so we'll just start clicking around this way. Oh, we're missing no, I don't want a coincident constraint there. Nope. Nope. Alright, fine, we'll add it. Okay. It's just hooking up all these construction lines, which it's really not important if they are constrained to the right place or not. We're going to start doing it down here. Oh, there's a gap between those points. Would you like to close a gap? Yes. I'm guessing that that was our problem the entire time, so I'm just going to say OK. So there is a microscopic gap that we cannot see there, and the Sketch Doctor found it and closed it for us. So that's where the Sketch Doctor comes in handy. So everything's fixed. We can click on all the geometries. I clicked on the middle geometry there, turn it to symmetrical. The distance I'm going is going to be this distance right here, so I just click right there. It says our D36 because this is dimension 36. That's just the name it gave to it, and say OK. Then we're good there. So whenever you extrude a sketch, it's going to consume the sketch. So if we want to use it again, we have to either right-click on sketch and say share sketch, or we can just drag it up like that, and it'll do the exact same thing either way. So now it should be quite a bit easier from here on out. I'm just going to click on each of these sections now, and we'll make that symmetric as well. Instead of D36, we're going to use that one, D28. That's half an inch. So perfect. And you know, since we shared the sketch, now it is it's not consumed with the sketch. It's just going to keep it up until I right-click and change its visibility here. And I think we're actually done using that one. So we're going to turn off the visibility. I'm going to come back and edit the sketch again, because I'll show you what's going on. So this sketch is it's drawn through the center plane of the object, and I need to draw the holes on top here. So the easiest way to do that is just click on sketch here again, and then I'm just going to copy this. So I just highlight it, do Control C, and start a new sketch. I just click on this surface I want to draw it on, and I click paste, and perfect. Everything is, well, everything is not in the right spot. It got flipped around, but that's okay. We know how to flip it back. So we're going to rotate. Center point is here, and hopefully it's not giving us problems. It looks like it just might. Oh, it worked for us. So we just put in 180 degrees and it flipped it around for us just fine. I don't know what that point there is for. Got it from somewhere. Okay, so now we have our center points on each of those holes. Should be good. So we just click Finish Sketch. I'm going to make this sketch visible again just so I can see the hole call out here. And click on holes. In times like this where you have kind of complex drawings out, it's not going to see the holes automatically, so you have to select your center points. As long as your placement here is from sketch, you have a few different options, but we're just saying from sketch. And these are 5/16 18 tapped holes. So we're going to go to the tapped hole section, change that to 5/8. Okay, it's already on 5/8 18. If we want to change the thread type, there's all our different thread types. And we will change this to a, oh, it's a through hole already, but it's saying, oh, I don't have the threads at full depth, so I click over here, full depth, Now it just automatically assumes the threads are going all the way through. Well, for some reason it's through all. Okay, there we go. For some reason it still wasn't wanting to go over to the through all setting. It wanted to go a certain depth. So I click OK. Got our holes there. That's great. I'm going to explain what I'm doing. We're going to draw on this face now, make it look, put in these features so that these two holes right here in this this little slot. So I'm going to copy this thing so we can paste it on that area. Control C. And now, before we start a sketch, let's just make the sketch invisible again so it's not in the road. And paste. And it pasted it up there. That's fine. So we're going to need a center point on right there to snap to. So I'm just going to make this line right here. So now we have a little intersection there that we can work with. And I'll just say, let's see, I need to rotate this as well. So let's rotate it first. Click on the whole thing, center point. Doesn't matter, I'll just rotate it around that. Yep, relax it. Let's just say 180, see if that works. It worked. Always great when things work. Now we'll move it. See if we can click on that. It's not going to last. Alright, so we need to put a point right there. I'll change it to, I just changed it to a regular point instead of a center point so it doesn't get picked up later when I try to put in holes. Oh, and sorry, just put an extra point right there. Now we'll move it. Base point is right there. It looks like, yeah. It looks like it's just sitting on top of the line for some reason. And then it's lagging a little bit. Click here. Oh, let's see here. Cannot be moved. Why can't you be moved? Just real quick, I'm opening this to see if there's anything I can see that's constraining it. I see no reason why it should not be able to be moved. Hey, my F9's working again. Okay, so I click move. Click on everything. Base point right there. And okay, so this is another example of when we use copy. So I'm going to do that. Click my base point right here. Oh, that's no problem at all. Okay. So that's definitely a good secret to know for making this work. Okay. So now I'm going to extrude this part and I'm going to put some holes in this part. So we're going to change these center points to, or these points to center points. And then I'll just make sure this looks like it can extrude just fine. And might have a problem. We'll just find out real quick. Oh, no problem at all. Okay, so we're going to say cut. And we're going to go say 2 next as our distance. And then it just says it's going to extrude from this surface down to until that surface. So it's not actually going to cut into that surface at all. Then we say OK. Let's share that sketch again. So we right click and say share sketch, or you can drag it up like we were saying before. And then we'll use our holes, except we need to know, oh, I don't know how I did that. We need to figure out how far our counter bore, how deep our counter bore is going to go. Which that sketch is right there in the middle there. Let's annotate it over on this side. So I'm going to edit the sketch. And this is just going to be a reference. Well, I mean, it's going to be a true dimension, but I click here, and that gives us, oh, the dimension wants to be, which I'm going to change it to 0.541. Just for some reason it wasn't there exactly. Okay, so that's going to be our counterbore depth from this outer surface. So I click hole, and it's like, whoa, what hole are you talking about? There's a lot of holes here. I'll click here, a lot of points here. So I click there and there. I'm going to, the hole's only going to go to this surface here. This is a through hole, and it's counterbored for a socket head cap screw. Is this for a 1/4-20? Yes, it is. Okay. So we're good there. 1/4-20. Going to change this right here is my counterbore depth. I'm going to change that to this dimension here. So now if we look at our sketch over here, okay, that looks about right. That looks about like we want it. So we're just going to say okay, and perfect. So now all we do is let's get rid of these. Let's make these sketches invisible again. And we just have one more part to do. We just need to make the tapped hole on the other side of that. So I'm going to start a sketch. Okay. This is on the far surface there. And I'm going to say project geometry. Remember, this is an important one to know for drawing on 3D parts. So I click on that circle there and that circle there. It brings up a center point for both of those circles. So now I'll just click on both of those center points, or both those points, and change them to center points up here. And now I can draw a hole on them, or put a hole on them. Let's say through all. There we go. Change it to a straight hole, and it's tapped. 1/4 inch. 1/4-20 is the designation. Perfect. And I believe that's it. Full depth. Everything's good. Okay, so now we have a tapped hole right there. You can kind of see the thread marks on it. And that is our complete part. Now, was that easier than just looking at the AutoCAD drawing and dimensioning it again? Maybe, maybe not. It's tough to say. You know, maybe once you get better at this, you'll go a lot quicker. But one thing is for sure, that this part is made exactly like it was in the AutoCAD drawing, so there's less room for error. But if you have any more questions on that, please let me know. But that is as far into detail as I'll be going on the importing AutoCAD drawings.